So Disney has apparently learned nothing from all of their experiences remaking Disney princess fairy tales and having them bomb at the box office, because reportedly their new plans are to remake Sleeping Beauty. But this time it's going to be a new film titled Aurora, after, of course, Princess Aurora in Sleeping Beauty. And not only is it retitled, but it's also set in Mexico. I guess they're going to make Princess Aurora Mexican in this retelling for modern audiences. I don't know what that means. Are we getting another race swap? This should be taken with a grain of salt, though, because the only source for it is this scooper named Daniel Richtman.
I see his stuff
behind
all the
his
time.
paywall on Patreon that he dropped this information, and people are just running wild with it. It's now led to AI-generated photos like this one of Sydney Sweeney as Princess Aurora. And Josie said, holy shit, she's white. No one expected that. Like, is she gonna be white and Hispanic?
Is that like the mea culpa for making Rachel Zegler Snow White?
I don't know. Like, why did you need to put it in Mexico? For context, Sleeping Beauty originates from a French fairy tale narrative that was composed between 1330 and 1344, and it was later published in a retelling by Charles Perrault in 1697, which then Disney picked up for their own film.
Remember, guys, Disney is very dumb if they're doing this. First of all, they already have a princess that would fit the bill for this, which is Elena of Avalor, which was an animated series that they did several years ago, starring Amy Carrero. It was actually one of Jenna Ortega's earliest works as a voice actress. So they could do that. But from what I understand, they have decanonized that character, who was supposedly, you know, at one point was considered the first Latina Disney princess, and they got rid of her.
What year was that?
What was it? 2016 to 2020?
Okay, I had never heard of it before. Maybe the Snow White discourse brought it into conversation.
Yep.
The thing is, you can't settle for that if you're Disney, because obviously the point of remaking all of these stories is to issue an official apology for what was wrong, what was objectionable about the way they told it to begin with. The original Sleeping Beauty movie came out in 1959, and I have seen many feminist objections to the story, mainly that Princess Aurora cannot consent to being kissed if she's sleeping. And they also point out the supposed canonical age gap between her and the prince. Because I believe in the movie, is supposed to be 14.
You also can't consent to mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, but there we are.
Yeah, like, let me find out what age she's supposed to be.
Given how little I know about Disney princesses, I didn't even know, I kid you not, I didn't even know Sleeping Beauty's name was Aurora.
There is, of course, a think piece about consent in Sleeping Beauty published in the Mary Sue back in 2017, where they, you know, give you the introductory
That was the
debate.
golden age of feminism. That was really when America started falling apart, when all the things you loved from your childhood were then re-examined with a critical lens.
Mm-hmm. They say this does present a conundrum with the fairy tale. If Philip kisses Aurora, according to this sentiment, he is sexually assaulting her. However, if he doesn't kiss her, she dies. So much for happy endings.
Is the same true of, like, literally, this is a real thing in the real world. It's called mouth-to-mouth resuscitation.
And
like,
then,
is the guy like, the person's dying on the ground and the EMT's like,
right.
Like, can I help you?
Yeah, it's non-consensual. Yeah. Well, Mary Sue actually did present some counter-arguments that she might have offered him non-verbal consent. There has to be taken into account that she does have feelings for Philip before she gets cursed. So that's one detail. Of course, he knows that kissing her is the only way to save her life. This is not a drunken accidental hookup or an older male authority figure taking advantage of a younger coworker. He's saving her from an eternity of sleep. And then, of course, you see the reaction to the kiss when she wakes up. She looks happy. She's smiling. So then you think, okay, now we've confirmed that she was consenting to what he did.
Bro, what if they
in
made
her body language?
What if they remade it and at the end he goes, nah, I'm not taking that chance. And he just leaves.
They said if Aurora's feelings were vague, we should definitely be having the consent conversation. We'd feel more comfortable having this conversation about Snow White because that dude literally just swings over to kiss a dead girl. However, what Aurora in the movie feels is pretty clear. She gives implied consent and reacts with delight to his actions. That matters.
Angry Shellback in the chat says, the curse was broken by true love's kiss. Means nothing anymore.
Really? But that's the point, right? They have to remake Aurora instead of coming up with a new story to issue a mea culpa for the problems that people pointed out in the original 1959 movie. Because it's not 1959 anymore. It's not 1937 anymore. And you have to remake these for modern audiences and modern sensibilities.
You really don't. You don't. You can just remake it.
You don't.
You can just remake it.
And of course, there's the racial element here, which was pointed out. Nina Infinity responded to the headline saying, why can't they make a Mexican princess or do a Mexican folklore story? Mexico has rich culture and many myths and legends and Mayan gods. They don't have to culturally appropriate instead.
You want to know why? Because then they'll have to hire all sorts of technical analysts and creative consultants to do it, and they don't want to do it.
Now, on the other hand, they are still developing the live-action Tangled movie with the Rapunzel fairy tale as its framework. And I think they have gone off the idea of race-swapping Rapunzel. Mm-hmm. According to rumors, they're looking for a white actress, thankfully, to play Rapunzel. So maybe they have learned their lesson, and maybe this rumor isn't even going to come to pass. We don't know yet.
It's transporting me back in time to 2018 when at that time it was a novel concept where the dregs of the Mary Sue and Tumblr escaped their hell dungeon and made it into polite society, and you had to entertain these types of discussions. And then to counteract it, you had to go online and look up like Jordan Peterson talking about fairy tales to like feel sane again. Yeah, he's like, oh, you know, Snow White.
Yeah.
It's a fairy tale, bucko.
And you know, it is true that Disney kind of emptied these fairy tales of a lot of their meaning when they adapted them the first time in the 20th century. That's a fair point too. It just gets to a point where it's intolerable when you remake the remake.
It's gonna keep happening.
Like, do you think that this is actually real? Do you like believe the rumor, or is this like...
I believe... Honestly, yeah, I do believe it. I do believe it. I've seen no evidence that their traditional storytelling has taken any sense of course correction outside of making some changes to some of their animated series and stuff like that. Like, I see nothing from them that says that they're going to be able to course correct in any meaningful way. They're not going to tell the original story unabridged. They're not going to dare and do that. They're not willing to risk it.
That Park Place said, this Sleeping Beauty set in Mexico pivot invites familiar questions, including the one many fans are already asking without needing to tweet it. If the goal is to celebrate Mexico and its rich mythology, why not create a brand new Mexican princess and brand new world?
What if they just hired Rachel Zegler again?
Yeah, just double down. F it. Let's bring her back.
Let's go.
Round two of the press tour.
I'm here for it.
But... yeah, they've already done that, haven't they? They made like Encanto, like that was popular.
Yes.
Coco was popular.
There is so much less baggage and so much more to be gained by going the new direction.
Moana, of course, is a newer one that's popular.
You get none of those unneeded comparisons. You don't have to have think pieces written by just absolute spinsters at the Mary Sue about the ethical nature of the story from 1937. You can just tell a new story and you'll get all the brownie points that you want from being diverse, which which is, look, there is still plenty of people who are not hyper political that would love to see that story if it's something unique, if it was unique to Mexican folklore. Can I have a cool chupacabra in it? That would be awesome. I would love that.
believe the most recent addition to the Disney princess lineup was Princess Asha in Wish.
Yeah, and they didn't put any effort into it.
Awful.
Yeah.
Like, beyond awful.
Yeah, but the point is you were critiquing it on its own merits. You weren't critiquing it as a comparison to something else. And the other thing is personally, selfishly, I would like to see more stuff because I'm sick of everything. Like, the reason I'm sick of remakes is because I'm sick of having to either watch or rewatch something before I go watch something new. Like, I saw Running Man when I was very, very young, the original one. I don't want to go rewatch it just to go see Glenn Powell in it. I don't want to, I mean, I do want to rewatch the original Predator, but not because Predator Badlands is coming out.
Well, to, I guess, Snow White's 2025's credit, I did watch the animated Snow White for the first time, and it was beautiful and impressive for its time, especially. And I have not watched the 1959 Sleeping Beauty. If this remake comes to pass, I will, just to compare the two. I, for context, wasn't allowed to watch the Disney princess movies. I don't know why, but I'm not emotionally invested in these movies.
Somebody in the chat, I lost it here, it was really funny, said Eddie Murphy as the Chupacabra. I actually, when I was on Culture War with Tom Bancroft, he talked about designing Mushu for Mulan and how they were like going back and forth about who to cast, and then they were like, Eddie Murphy! And they were like, huh? And then it was awesome.
Do you think that that Mulan is like a feminist story? Because she's like, you know, I can do anything a man can do.
I mean, probably an old school idea. There is less baggage and anger with that story, the original story, from what I understand, than there is like with feminism today. I didn't see the 2021 one, but you know, it's. I would love. You know what? Eddie Murphy should do it. Eddie Murphy should come. He's not retired, but he should come out and do that. Or Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker as the Chupacabra.
Back from hiatus.
We
need him.
And then after that, Disney. I don't know who owns Rush Hour. I don't know who owns the Rush Hour franchise, and they make Rush Hour 4. You know, whatever one they're on now. And we get Jackie Chan.
Times call for desperate measures. Bring back Chris Tucker from the dead.
Yep.
We did kind of pull some egregious clickbait today with Sydney Sweeney, just because that was the fan cast that we came across. No. I don't think Sydney Sweeney is going to play Princess Aurora.
She doesn't need to.
And I don't think that she would take the role if it were offered to her.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't think she needs to. She's doing plenty good kissing Scooter Braun on a rock in a park.
Yeah, get that bag.
I saw a comment that said like brown loafers with white socks.
That was crazy. Wait, what do you mean you're just sitting on a rock? Why are you just sitting on a rock in 40-degree weather?
I don't wear brown loafers. So what's you wear black socks with brown loafers, or do you get matching socks?
You don't wear brown socks. You just need black.
You just wear black. But traditionally you don't wear. See, I had like dark brown like pants, not khakis, but like dark brown that I would wear with black shirts, and that was always considered taboo because you're not supposed to wear brown and black together. But that rule doesn't apply to socks.
Outdated.
Okay, let's go.
But yeah, those photos were kind of disturbing.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.